What's up guys, my name is Aubrey and welcome to a new episode on the channel. If you are new here, then this is my channel and here we discuss all things business, entrepreneurship, Turo, Upwork, and everything in between. And if you have not subscribed yet, then I would greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. If you are already subscribed, then I greatly appreciate you. So in today's video, I want to tell you how you can get started with Turo today. Maybe you're somebody who has been interested in the platform, you've wanted to get started, but you don't know how. And I am here to tell you that. And the way that you get started on Turo is to just get started. So often on YouTube, on Facebook, on Reddit, on Google, wherever you search for advice on how to get started on Turo, you see so many people preaching about the fact that you've got to plan, you've got to create a business plan, you've got to research and do your due diligence and do X, Y, and Z before you should get started. And I'm not devaluing the value of research and due diligence and business plans, because those things are all amazing and I always recommend doing your due diligence on anything. But the problem is, and I think Turo is a prime example of this, is that people get into this cycle of just planning and planning and planning and never actually executing. They think that creating a business plan is the same as creating a business, and that's just not true. There are so many videos on YouTube, like 10 steps to get started on YouTube, or an 8-video series on how to get started today, or these are 15 things you need to do to get started on Turo. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't take 10 steps. It doesn't take a 10-video series. It doesn't take a 15-step guide on how to learn to get started on Turo. All it does is take two things. And those two things are, one, rent your personal vehicle out first and figure out if this business is for you. And two, read the terms of service. That's it. That is all that it takes to get started on Turo, and you could get started today. The reason why I recommend renting out your personal vehicle first is because I see a lot of people who go and they drop money on a vehicle that they are using solely to rent on Turo, and they've never rented on Turo before. They then rent this vehicle and they decide or figure out that this business isn't for them. Maybe it's because it's just too much work. Maybe it's because it's not as passive as they thought. Maybe it's because they actually don't know a whole lot about cars and the business model. Whatever the case is, I see it happen all the time. People who buy a vehicle specifically for Turo and they very quickly realize that this isn't going to work. Because of this, I always recommend that people rent their personal vehicles out first, because there's really nothing to lose. Yeah, your vehicle could potentially get damaged, and that is certainly a risk, but as long as you do everything you should do properly, then that damage would be covered. But if you rent out your personal vehicle on Turo and you decide it's not for you, then you can just simply unlist it and go on with your life, and no harm, no foul. And if you end up renting out your personal vehicle on Turo and you decide this is a business for you, then you can either continue renting out your personal vehicle, or you can go and invest the money into buying a vehicle specifically for Turo. Again, no harm, no foul. But if you end up buying a car specifically for Turo, you decide the business isn't for you, now you have this car that you don't know what to do with, you're stuck with either the payments or this car that's just sitting in front of your house not being driven. If you rent out your vehicle first, or your personal vehicle out first on Turo, you can find out relatively quickly whether or not you'll like this business model. Within a few days or even a few weeks, you could make that decision. And it's always worth it to do that first step before going out and buying a car specifically for Turo. Now the next thing is, and this is what you should do before renting out your personal vehicle, is to read the terms of service. The terms of service is what will set you up for success when it comes to dealing with claims, to protecting yourself in the case of a stolen vehicle or a totaled vehicle or a wrecked vehicle. You need to make sure to read the terms of service at least once. I'd probably recommend going over it multiple times, because it will have everything you need to know in that document. Things like having to take photos of vehicles within 24 hours of a rental beginning, like checking license photos and how remote key exchanges work, and everything in between. I say it so often to so many people, renting out your car on Turo is not hard. It's not a hard business. And as long as you have the processes in place and the knowledge and the know-how to operate a successful business on this platform, you can 100% be successful. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it. I run Turo, it's not even my full-time thing, and I make good money on the platform, and I am not a genius. There are so many people out there that are smarter than me, both in business and in cars, who could do so much better than I am, and yet I'm out here killing it, and you can kill it too. So don't get caught in the trap of endless planning, and just go out there and do it. And this lesson applies to more things than just Turo. Is if you're planning on starting a business, and I would say the only exception is if that business requires a large loan. If you're starting a business that requires a large loan, then definitely plan and do your due diligence. But if you're starting a business that has relatively low startup costs, then just go out and do it. Don't get stuck in the endless trap of planning and planning and planning, and then a year goes by and you haven't even started the business. The best way to learn is to do, and I believe that in order to be successful on Turo, you've just got to go out there and do it. Learn along the way. You'll make mistakes. You will have some regrets, but at the end of the day, if you're smart about it and if you do the things laid out in the terms of service to protect yourself, you should have a good experience. Now, if you're looking for more resources on how to start a Turo business, then definitely check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of videos coming out on Upwork and freelancing, my experience with franchising, my credit history, all things like that. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was a teenager, and I've learned a lot over the last 10 years of being in this business, and I really want to pass that on to people who are either just getting started or wanting to learn more, or who are still in school and looking for something to do with their life. So if that stuff interests you, then please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. It really helps YouTube algorithm, and it will help my channel grow so that I can produce more content for you guys. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.